am going live with Ali once I invite her on right now. Ali! After a Facebook live, which I have no idea how to do, we are starting off here and we are literally talking everything nutrition, fitness, training, body, transformations, and just like all the things. There she is.
There I am. It only took us a while to figure this out, but all right.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do right now too. We are gonna just ramble. So Ali and I both can talk for hours, days, weeks on end about everything transformations, everything nutrition, everything freaking what everybody in the industry as you said, health professionals assign to us.
Well, here's the thing, and I posted a lot of those yesterday with the thought process that they could be conversation topics today. But then I just kind of went off. Whatever. Here we are.
But in all honesty, it's literally so true though. Like what people say, like there's contradicting stuff out there all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like health professionals say this. It's like, yeah, well, so like the doctor, for example, if someone is overweight and they go to the doctor says, yeah, well, it's your fault because you eat too much.
Yeah.
And then there are people saying you just don't want it bad enough. And you mentioned this as well. And it's just like, no, it's beyond that, because it's not that you don't want it bad enough, because you can know all the right things to do. But if they were really the right things to do for you, then you would be doing it. But a lot of the time, we don't do those things because the very thing that we need to do is uncomfortable. So we think that we know what we should be doing. Oh, by the way,
you're rocking my. Well, here's the thing. I washed my hair today, and I washed it or yesterday. I washed it for the first time, and I don't even know how long. So I'm gonna wear it down as long as it'll let me before I have to put it up again. But yeah, and that's the thing is, they're told, oh, you're eating too much, but there's no direction on what to do. And then you go on the internet and there's all this contradicting information on what you should do. And then there's all these freaking fad diets that work. And then we lose weight and then we screw up metabolism and then we're all confused. So it's just, there's so much information out there. And like I tell everybody, like, you got to do the thing that works and the thing that makes sense for your life and the thing that you can stick to. And that isn't a fad diet. So it's hard for people.
I don't think people even realize what a fad diet is when it shows itself. Like, I just got told exactly what Octavia is. Like, I made a big rant about what it is because I just took it as another quick fix. But then they're like, yeah, they actually tell you not to exercise because you are eating such little calories. Right. So think about this. I post about all the time how it's not just about a calorie deficit. It's beyond that. And calorie deficit doesn't really help someone if they don't know how to actually get that. Right. But if you are eating really little, like really, really little, and then you stop training, you are going to bring your actual basal metabolic rate from here all the way down to here.
Yep.
And it's going to be really hard to recover. Right. Because what did you lose? Muscle mass. And then what's going to happen? As soon as you start to see the scale increase, you're going to freak the fuck out, not know what to do, and keep yourself stuck.
Yep.
Or you're going to go on a binging spree.
Yep. And then you're going to gain body fat, and then you're going to gain more weight, and then you're going to get water retention, and then you fucked everything up. Excuse my language, but that's my favorite word. And then you mess everything up. And then you're stuck, and you're like, well, this doesn't work. Diets don't work. And you brought this up the other day, the whole diets don't work thing. Like, fad diets don't work, but
yeah,
a real life diet works. Like a caloric it works. The right macros work. The right balance works. But when you're constantly doing something that's working for someone else and it doesn't work for you, and then you think, oh, well, that doesn't work, then you're back to square one.
It works until it doesn't. And then what? and you're stuck. And this is why you can't just be so hyper focused on an outcome. And because I've competed as well 8 freaking times, and I did 8 shows in the space of 2 years. Mm-hmm. But it got to the point where I was literally just chasing this end goal.
Right.
That I was the real purpose behind it. And then all of a sudden, something that started out with a good intention, this is bigger than my head. Something that started out with a really good intention ended up being me now being so hyper focused on the fact the scale was going down. The fact that it's really funny because I remember looking back on it. I remember when I finished my comps, I was really freaking lean. I was shredded. I had striated glutes. Like literally my glutes had striations. And you could see veins in every single part of my inner thigh, my outer thigh. You could even see it in a little bit of my upper glute. But it's just like I was starting to feel like I was getting fat. Because what do we relate ourselves to? The leanness that we've been. And the reason I'm bringing up competitions, even though it is not the same as a lifestyle diet, if you were still aiming for that end goal, it's the same as, I mentioned this in one of my podcasts, it's the same as like when you plan for a big wedding. Your whole life, not your whole life, but like a whole year, maybe 2 years, whatever the prep period is, everything you think, everything you do, every sacrifice you make, all the time that you put in, everything is trading off for that wedding event, trading off for that show on stage, trading off for the end of this 12-week cleanse, whatever it is. Because then what are you going to do after? Oh, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
Another challenge. And it's stupid. Like, I actually want to read this post out in Women Who Lift Weights. Like, maybe we can even answer some questions in there. But there was a girl that was saying that she was eating like 1,400 calories. Her carbs were really low because she had a previous paleo diet. And just like you said, like, you will freak out the second that you start eating carbs. Because she's just like, body doesn't agree with me when I eat carbs.
Right.
My question, what makes you think your body doesn't agree with you? Oh, because I eat carbs and then I feel inflamed or I gain a little bit of weight. And it's just like, do you really feel like you're getting inflamed from the carbs? Or is it the fact that you're freaked the fuck out about the fact that you just started eating carbs after fearing them for so long?
Right. Because then they're so demonized. I'm like, well, that's because you're eating the wrong carbs, or you're eating too many of them, or you're going from eating none to then eating some, and then you're gaining, then you have water retention. It's not fat. Your bloat isn't fat. Your bloat is inflammation. So there's a lot of misinformation.
And it's also the stress around, like, if you were stressed out about the food that you eat, one, you're not going to digest it properly. Actually, this is probably the best time to talk about what a leaky gut is. Mm-hmm. People say leaky gut all of the time.
Yeah.
What they mean is your gut lining becomes permeable. Right. There is no such thing as a leaky gut per se. If you are stressed out, if you have been dieting for long periods of time, if you have been overtraining, your gut is stressed.
Right.
It starts to do whatever it can to absorb as many nutrients as it can, so it becomes permeable, because it needs that. Or the stressed out state, it isn't able to actually pass the way through. So then things that aren't supposed to be in your bloodstream and meant to be absorbed from your food start to make its way through the gut lining, and all of a sudden there's an inflammation response. Mm-hmm. So that's the inflammation response you get when you're stressed out about what you eat, when you're stressed out about whatever you do, and then you have this big bloated gut, and you're probably, like, you see people that are literally just hardly eating, probably like under-muscled with big guts because of the stressed out state, the under-nutrient state, the nutrient deficit state.
They become obsessed and stressed. Yep. For sure.
And then it becomes like all you know. So then what's next? And then the inflammation as well that people think they get when they eat carbs is just the fact that you're eating something you're not used to. You're scared about eating it. And guess what? Carbohydrate. Carbs carry water because carbo freaking hydrates.
I heard that one before, but I like it. I'm going to use it from now on.
Like it's literally like it's in the word carbohydrates.
Yeah. I've never thought
Every single gram of carb comes with 3 grams of water. So you eat the 1 gram of carb plus the 3 grams of water. You have 4 extra grams in your body that are not fat. Fuck the scales because the scales do not show you the food that is in your stomach.
That is something right now, the whole scale, what the scale says, I am trying. I don't know if there's like some scale epidemic going on in the world right now, but I feel like it's coming at me like multiple times a week. I've got clients, I've got people coming to me. They're talking about, I want to lose this much weight. I want to get down to this weight. I want to be down to 115 because that's when I felt my best. I'm like, okay, when was the last time you were 115? High school? Okay, you were 18. You're 35 now. 115 pounds at 15, 18 is different now at your pre-baby 35-year-old body. So 100%. So I'm like, you don't want to be there. You're not trying to lose weight. You're trying to lose body fat. Because here's the thing. When I talk about, and I reshared this this post not too long ago to my stories, is I have a side-by-side of me when I was 110 and then when I was like 130 or 125 or 128. It was like I was on prep. But I'm 145 right now. I look way better now at 145 than I ever looked at 115. And I have less body fat. I looked skinny fat at 115. I don't look like that anymore. I like how I look better now. I like how I feel better now. So people are constantly chasing this number on the scale because they think that's what's going to make them look better and feel better. When in all reality, they want to lose body fat and gain lean muscle.
I had this conversation with this girl yesterday, and she is so hyper-focused on losing this set amount of pounds. And like, as much as she can see that the questions that I'm asking are very accurate, because she even said that she agrees, blah, blah, blah. Like, these are the questions I ask everyone. Like, I dig deep. But you stay so shallow when that is all you know. That is your only metric of success. That is your only metric of how you can get to this random goal that you have in your head. But the questions I was asking her were pretty much like, but why those numbers? Why do you want to lose weight? And she's just like, there is no science behind it. I just need to lose between 20 and 30 kilos, blah, blah, blah. But then she goes on to say, I'm physically exhausted all the time. I have a full-time job. I have chronic pain in my leg. I don't sleep very well. And I have like 3 minutes worth of a voice message. But in the voice message, I said, but here's the thing. You just said it yourself. It is not the weight. It is the fact that you want to stop feeling exhausted all the time. You want to have the energy. You want to keep up with your kids. You want to actually spend time with your kids and not be a steamed out rat at the end of the day because you're so tired.
100%.
And you want to sleep better. And then it's just like, yep, you get me. And then I'm like, yeah, but this is the thing. So what is the cost of you not acting? What is the cost of you not changing? And then after a while of the conversation, she's like, yeah, but I want to lose weight because that will make me happier. Like, really?
You're like,
you really won't.
Yeah, well, and that's what I do with a lot of my clients, because they have this idea that they're not making, if they're checking in with me once a week and they're like, well, I only lost 2 pounds this week. Okay, well, that's 2 pounds you didn't have last week. Or if they didn't lose weight or I gained weight. I'm like, okay, well, this is when I want to look at other markers. Like, to your point, how do you feel? How's your energy? How's your sleep? How are your workouts feeling? Are you feeling stronger? How do your pants fit? Like, do you feel bloated? Like, these are the kind of questions that I start to ask, because to me, it's all about the non-scale victories, more so than what the weight says. And if you're now eating the right amount of food and you're going to the gym, maybe you're not losing weight because you're gaining muscle, but you're losing fat. So I had this conversation with a girlfriend today. She was a client of mine for a long time, and she's been following the same macros since we stopped working together months ago, and she's like, well, I'm weighing more. And then she goes, but I feel like I'm stronger. And I'm like, yeah, that's because you gain muscle. And she's like, and I'm hungry. I'm like, yeah, because your metabolism's higher. I was like, so you increasing your macros more than likely. So it's just, but
the scale is toxic. The scale is fucking toxic. Like it honestly is. And all of a sudden, it's like this metric of success that people still can't get rid of. It's like, why the scale when no one asks you? Like, no one even asks for your phone number anymore these days. They ask for your freaking Instagram and Facebook. No one is even asking you for what you weigh. And when you go to a shop to buy clothes, do you ask him, do you have a size 70 kilos? Like, no, you don't. You ask for a particular size. Then again, that's kind of stupid because you want that, whatever clothing it is, to look good on you and you want to own the clothing. Right. But like size small in this jumper, if I go to a different shop and get a size small, what if it's too small for me? Like, I have 2 gym companies that I buy shorts off. One of them I get extra small in. Mm-hmm. The other one, if I get extra small in, I look like I have a freaking muffin top because it's so friggin' tight on me. Yeah. Like, different sizes also apply there as well. Am I gonna beat myself up because I look like I have a muffin top on one of them, but the other one makes me look like I have this amazing 6-pack of abs?
So I actually went through that probably a year ago. No, more than a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, with the Nike Pro shorts. Okay. So I'm like so used to buying extra small. Oh my gosh, extra small, extra small. And then one day I'm like, okay, the extra small doesn't fit. Try the small. Smalls don't fit. I'm like, oh, I'm a medium in these. And for a minute it was like a mind fuck because I was so used to like having my worth be tied to what size, what letter was on the inside of my shorts. And then I was like, I don't care. The fact that I'm wearing a medium to me is a sign of progress because that means that I'm growing. So I think that was the moment that I learned to detach my progress to a size because I don't care anymore. Yeah. Because now I'm like, oh, I can't wear these small shorts anymore. I was reorganizing my my clothes the other day and I have all these Noble shorts. And I looked at them, I was like, are these my kids? Because I don't know how I fit these things ever. But it's unfortunately what society has made us feel. And it's unfortunate. We always have to break that. And that's what I'm trying to do right now, little by little, is really get my clients to detach what the scale says from them making progress. I even had a male client. I think I read his check-in email this morning, and he said, I really want to get to 200 pounds by June. And he's in like I think he's like 215 right now. And I said, that's manageable. I said, but, because he's a bigger guy, he's over 6 feet tall. And I'm like, I think that you might look better above 200 pounds. I was like, because we want to focus on gaining muscle, losing fat, but gaining muscle, and muscle weighs more than fat. So I was like, I think you might look better over 200 pounds if we can put some. So it's not something that's being attached to the female race. It's the males too.
Yeah. So, there's a guy at the gym. I really want to bring this guy up because he inspired about 5 of my posts since our conversation ages ago. Love it. But he is on a stair mill for about 40 minutes of the day. He's eating almost 1,000 calories less than me. He's on 1,900 calories. Wait, no, he's on 1,900 to 2,000 calories. And his body isn't really changing. Like, to me, he would look so much better with a lot more muscle, but he is chasing, oh, but I've always had this stubborn belly fat. That was a lie I told myself too, until I actually decided to listen to what my coach said and eat more freaking carbs and go from 1,600 calories, burning myself out 6 days a week at the gym, to training 4 to 5 days at the gym. This was ages ago. I train 4 now. 4 to 5 days at the gym on 2,300 calories, on 250 grams of carbs, which he wanted me to eat 300. But now, fast forward 2 years later, I'm training 4 days at the gym. I eat 2,800 to 2,900 calories and I'm on 450 grams of carbs. And people still think that carbs make you fat.
Do they? That's my favorite though, is when you tell someone how many, because I'm sure when you tell people what your macro balance is, they probably look at you like you're crazy. Like, how do you eat that much food? I'm like, easy, dude. Like, my body needs it. Like, I'm on prep right now and I eat more on prep. You and Marcy were talking about this the other day. I eat more on prep. I think I'm at like 1,800 calories right now than a majority of people eat on a daily basis. And when I get down to 1,200 calories, I want to hurt somebody. I'm like, how do people survive off of this on a daily basis? Because that's not what the human body is designed to do. The human body is not designed to survive off of 1,200 calories a day. Like, I'm about to eat my 1,800 calories.
That's the thing. Like, it's 1,200 calories. I hate it when people say that's enough for a toddler, because the thing is, yeah, but toddlers are really active. Some people need 1,200 calories to lose weight, but they're the keywords, to lose weight. That is one little piece out of the whole pie, which should not be longer than a 12 to 16 week phase.
Right.
And a lot of people in that 12 to 16 weeks have diet breaks too. And something that I wrote on my stories yesterday is social media has distorted our perception of how fast progress should be, what progress entails, and the expectations we should have for such, which is true, because like, we don't even know what we really want anymore, and we're not even willing to change our goalposts once we learn a certain thing. It's like, okay, I started this, I realized that I need to actually build more muscle, but no, I'm so fixated on the scale because now I identified with me losing weight.
Yep. Well, and then it kind of becomes, because I love, to your point of, we're just, social media is distorting how quickly things should happen. I almost feel like now before and afters are a double-edged sword, because for business, they're great. They're advertisements. However, people see them and they expect, well, that happened for that person within a 3-month to 6-month period. That's what should happen too. And I have people come to me and say, well, how many people have you seen with crazy progress in 3 months? I'm like, I've seen nobody have crazy progress in 3 months. I've had people have significant progress in 3 months, but the people that have significant progress are also people who are sticking to their plan every single day with no hiccup.
And they've been ruthlessly executing before that as well. Like, you don't just start something and get progress within 3 months the way that Jenny did it in her transformation photos. I laughed when you said that because I just did a video on it. I haven't posted it yet, but it's, you see these transformation photos and then you hire a coach for those transformation photos, and then all of a sudden you're comparing yourself to that, and then come 8 weeks, 12 weeks, why don't I look like her transformation photos?
Yeah.
And here's the thing with business as well. It's great for business. So what do business people want to do? They want to get more befores and afters so they can get more business. But the thing is, there's a difference between clients and signups. Yep. Signups, you're just a number. Signups, you're just getting this friggin' like not really end result, because then what happens after? What happens after the after photo? It's the same thing as the post diet.
Right. But even with a lot of my before and afters, they're clients that I'm still working with. So like, that's not even an after. It's this is the progress that we've made. And I have a client that I've been working with for quite some time, and we've posted before and afters of him. We've done like a three photo before and after. And he texted us the other day and said, I need to update this because I look better than that now. This is not the end goal. Like, you're going to get there, but how long does it take you? And there's this, again, it being a double-edged sword. People think, oh, well, it's just going to happen overnight. Here's the thing. You didn't gain 20 pounds of fat overnight. You're not going to lose that fat in 3 months. You can make significant progress and make your lifestyle changes to get to that point at some point. But you can't just expect to change your habits in a month or 2 months or whatever, and it to change. Also, you can't follow the plan 5 days a week and 2 days out of the week still go off plan and expect to make progress.
You brought up so many good points.
It's a full-time job every single day. And people are, I have clients all the time, I'm not making progress. I'm like, well, because you followed the plan for 5 days, but then you ate 2,200 calories on Saturday.
Yeah. And so, that's the thing as well.
And I try to understand, and this was something that I took away from your guys' live the other day, was really getting to the root cause of what the issue is. Because those are the conversations that I try to have with my clients. But sometimes it's hard to find like the right words to, so it's not, because it's like, I'm calling you out, but I don't want to call you out. But I want to find out, like, what is the emotional issue that we're having here, or the mental block that we're having, because clearly there's something, because you're saying that you're trying really hard, but you're still not carbs that I'm eating you. And you're eating sub 1,000 calories a day. And you're over 200 pounds.
They don't like having those conversations. And that's the thing. I know I try to have these conversations all the time with my girls, and it's almost like they avoid answering the questions because it's uncomfortable. And that's the thing. We don't like getting uncomfortable, and we don't like feeling things. No. So then why do people emotionally eat? As soon as I saw that on your stories, I'm like, I could rant on this topic for so long about why we emotionally eat, because we don't want to feel. We escape the feeling.
Yeah, well, because here's the thing. I don't emotionally eat, so those were hard for me. Like, when I get emotional, I just detach. Like, food doesn't exist to me. And I could, like, go days without eating. So I was like, this is a hard one for me to answer, so I'm going to need somebody to come in that does emotionally eat. I mean, I understand it's like an escape, because it's like, okay, well, I'm finding instant gratification. It's like shopping. I guess my thing was shopping always when I freely spent money. That's another story for another day. Like, it's an escape. So I totally get it from that standpoint. But
yeah, so I will answer that question just in case that person watches this. So a lot of the time when people emotionally eat, they don't even know what the emotion is. They just call it emotionally eat. Yeah, hi Adam. They don't even pause to try to dig deeper into it, or they think they know what it is, or they're not. It's almost like they want perfection. Mm-hmm. So they aren't willing to do the trial and error and fail, and like when you're approaching emotional eating, you need to be okay with the fact that you're not going to solve it straight away. You're not going to have the answer straight away. So you're going to have to go through the process of working with it and not try to solve it. But that is uncomfortable because we just want to fix it right away. Mm-hmm. But I find a lot of the time when we eat a particular food to feel good for a certain period of time, and then we feel like shit afterwards. Mm-hmm. So it's a false ghost sense of happiness, whereas the true sense of happiness and fulfillment comes from actually doing what you said you were going to do that actually makes you feel good. So if you're going for this particular hit of dopamine or whatever it is, mm-hmm. you need to figure out where that feeling, whatever that emotion is lacking from your life. And this is kind of what we spoke about in that live as well. It's what, actually, no, it was in the live before that one, our first live that we did. It's okay, but what's missing from your life?
Yeah.
You need to add color to your life, because if all you do is get consumed by food and exercise, you are going to use that to then cope with emotional problems, when weight loss isn't even a food problem. If that's what you're struggling with,
right,
it is an emotional problem. And back to what you said. Yeah, okay, cool. Relapse, but the thing is, relapse happens.
Yep.
You can stick to whatever crazy shit that you do, but you're not going to, like, you can probably change your habits amazingly and stick to something super slick and clean for like a 6-week diet because you have this end goal in mind.
Yep.
And then what happens afterwards?
Yep.
Because now you don't have a sole focus anymore. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Yeah, shut up, Ruby. I'm just going to sign up to another 6-week challenge and lose more life. what is your cost of inaction?
You're
I
not.
actually just did a post on this on my Facebook. You have to go read it. But it's what in your life, because we don't realize this. It's just like your kids grow up and all of a sudden you're just like, oh my God, I missed my kids growing up. I missed actually enjoying their company. I missed quality time with them. Whereas for me, I am looking back now, my parents are senile as fuck. Sorry, guys, but my parents are senile as fuck. And I feel like I lost the youth in them and the quality time I could have spent with them because I was always, whenever we were on holidays or had family time, I didn't spend time with them. I was too busy worrying about when I'm going to go do this and the food I had to eat. I skipped going to the restaurants with them because I wasn't in control of the restaurants, but I was in control of the buffet food. Not really, but it's just like, what of your life are you allowing to suffer because of your hyper fixation on all of these external things? I'm not saying you can't have both. That is the beauty. You can have whatever you want. You can have all of the things, just not all at once and not all at the same time. You need to know your trade-offs. And like prep. Like, how long does prep go for versus how long does your bloody off season go for? Like, fat loss is such a small circuit. But the thing is, her stage look will look absolute trash if she didn't put in the work in the off season.
So that's the thing. So, and I've been having these conversations with people lately about what's harder, prep or the off season. It can totally, for me, the beginning of off season is the hardest. Because you're starting to, first of all, because you've got body dysmorphia, like out the wazoo. Like it's not until a few weeks, a conversation with a friend at the gym the other day, I was like, we don't realize how good we look. And a couple weeks after the show, you look at your pictures from peak week and you're like, what psycho was I to think that I was fat? Like I look like a twig. But I feel like the off season is the hardest, especially the beginning of it, because you're having to transition out of that super, super lean phase to now I'm gaining some body fat and I can't see my muscles anymore. And that's scary. But I also had this thought the other day that prep is prep for a show, but I'm also prepping myself for a successful off season. So I'm trying to change my mindset even still like this season to how I can make this healthier and healthier, because I've got clients and comp clients to coach, and I want to be able to bring as much value to it and to them as I can. So, I mean, I think they're both hard in their own right, but almost off season's harder because it's longer.
I'm the opposite. I cannot imagine now. Like people can't imagine eating 2,000 calories because it's too much. I can't imagine eating freaking 2,200 calories because that's too little for me. Like I ate 2,300 one day and I'm just like, I'm freaking hungry.
Yeah.
And like, I can't comprehend ever going into a fat loss phase again because I just love eating. I love food. I love carbs. I love and I can't even imagine to have been here. Because when you say that's your hardest, the reason I brought this up is the hardest part for me to get to where I am right now is the fear. It's not even what's harder, off season or prep. It's why do you feel it to be hard? And for me, it was I fear gaining this was a lie I told myself. I fear gaining too much body fat and I don't trust myself. I don't trust my body to lose it. Mm-hmm. I don't trust myself anymore to be able to stick to a diet now, to be able to lose it. I don't trust myself to be disciplined enough because it was such a struggle before, because I failed before, because my body was never changing when I pushed so hard, because I pushed so hard 6 days a week training, adding in HIIT, being an idiot and adding in stupid stuff onto the end of my sessions once upon a time because I'm like, I know my thing's fat! And I'm eating like nothing. Like, I was obsessed with food. And my fear to ever like start eating again was I couldn't trust myself. What if I get worse? I don't like where I am right now. And that's where a lot of people are. They don't like where their body is right now. But the thing is, Body image has nothing to do with what your body looks like, because you can look freaking amazing and still hate your body because it's all in here. So the hardest part is whatever you tell yourself and believe yourself it to be, because of what you fear, because you are in control. And if you want the best for your body, you need to trust it and trust yourself and trust your coach.
Stop trusting this. And that's why I tell people, like, progress pictures are so important, because you see yourself every day. When you look in the mirror, like, you see something coming back at you, but that's a lie. What you see in the mirror is a lie most of the time.
It is.
Ate something. But now, I don't know. So far, this season has been the hardest for me. Just because of, like, personal stuff. But
yeah, that's actually really powerful. What you just said is really powerful. So she just said that this is the hardest stuff because of the hardest part, the hardest off season, because of personal stuff. There's the thing. You perceive you're hard based on what's happening around you. If you have shit happening in your life, you are going to feel the struggle more than anything else, because that is changing your perception on your hard.
For sure. For sure.
Continue.
It's like, I'm not dealing, because I made a post about it last night. I told myself I'm just going to pour all of my energy into this prep. And the last, like, 3 weeks, things have not been happening the way that they've happened in my last freaking years of preps, where everything happened so easily and seamlessly, and I didn't have hunger issues. I didn't have emotional issues. I was just blah, 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 whatever. And this year I'm like, yeah, nothing's working. I feel like I look like shit. I'm bloated. I legit looked pregnant for like 3 weeks. Like, the point where I took a pregnancy test. I'm like, am I pregnant and I don't know it? Like, it was bad. But I was so stressed out. Like, I couldn't see anything. And I realized I can't even focus on this prep because I'm stressed out with what's going on over here. And then finally yesterday I circled back and looked at my progress pictures this week, and I'm like, you dummy. Like, you have made progress. You're just so tied up in this and trying to control the uncontrollables that you're losing sight of what's going on. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, back on track. Here's my track. Let's just focus on what we can control and keep doing what you need to do, because it's working.
Yeah, exactly. I wrote an article on this on my website. I don't know if you want the link to it, but when it comes to, like, inflammation and stress and all the stuff that she was feeling, and, like, the fact that she was actually feeling puffier and not seeing change, that is exactly why it is so important to ask yourself the deeper questions on what is it. Are you comparing yourself to anyone else? Do you have any expectations? Are you stressed out? Because stress is one of the biggest killers to what your body looks like, because you're going to hold a lot more water. And because of that, you're going to feel fat and shit and bloated, and you're going to look pregnant because you're stressed out.
Right.
It's almost like if you eat a food that you're intolerant to, your body does the same reaction, because that intolerance, that food intolerance, your body is intolerant to stress. Like, it wasn't designed to be stressed.
And I have to remind myself, like, these are the conversations that I have with my clients every single day. Is, okay, well, you're following the protocol, but what other things are going on in your life? This is why I tell my clients, I'm not just your nutrition coach. I'm your friend. Talk to me. Because if there's something going on, if there's an underlying stressor in your life, please tell me. Because that's going to give me a lot of insight into what's going on with your body. Because if you're stressed, you're not going to lose weight. And so, like, I've had to, like, reel myself in and be like, okay, Allison, like, these are the things that you're telling your clients, so you need to tell yourself these things as well. So
on that note, just the stress thing, also sleep it's not just the fact that it'll stop you from losing weight, because sometimes that can just be a mask. You can still be losing weight, obviously, like Ali. But the thing is, if this shit is chronic in your life, and if your sleep is chronically disturbed in your life, it can actually make you gain weight. Not because your calorie deficit isn't working, it's because your calorie deficit isn't a calorie deficit anymore.
Yeah.
Not because you're eating too little, but because your body isn't burning what it usually does to keep its systems alive.
Right.
Because now it is like stress and sleep deprivation increase insulin resistance.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I want to go back to something you spoke about. I just wrote it down to just reminded me. I told you we talk forever. We always talk forever. That's just us. I love you. So my macros, like, yes, people can freak out about my macros, especially because I'm such a shorty.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the big piece that's missing. It's like I demand that many calories and that amount of carbs because of the work that I put into my body and the work that I put into my training. And people miss that training element because all they want to do is burn calories. You need to build muscle and you need to train hard. Like,
the Stairmaster isn't going to get you to where you want to be. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
So do I. I saw a post the other day. Someone I just don't even bother getting in arguments sometimes. I just left it after I wrote my comment. But I'm just like, yeah, but the Stairmaster is just another form of cardio. It's probably just a little bit more intense because your heart rate gets a lot higher, which is why you probably sweat your ass off. Because yep. I don't sweat on any other machine unless I'm killing myself in the air dying. But I actually used to do these WODs, and when my clients want something killer, I give them some of the WODs I used to do. But I used to do this WOD that was workout of the day kind of thing for anyone that doesn't know. But it was, you start off with it started off with 2 kilometers. It worked its way up to 5 kilometers on the rower. Then I had to do 160 calories worth as per the bike because calories aren't accurate. It's just that you have to always have a particular gauge right. to like always hit that particular thing. So it was 160 calories written on the assault bike. And then I had to run a mile on the treadmill. And that was the one. I was just like, no. This was ages ago. Okay. Yeah, it's hard. But anyway, even like that I started to adapt to that to the point where I wasn't sweating anymore. But I never adapted to the Stairmaster. I always sweat on that when I used to do it. I don't do any of that shit now. But
I have to do the Stairmaster every day. So we have an agreement. We have an agreement now. The Stairmaster and I are coming to an agreement.
Yeah, there we go. See, that's the thing. Like everything has a place and like every tool has a job at the right time, if that makes sense. Like none of those things, I don't need them right now. I might need them later. Like I actually need to start doing cardio because I need to improve my fitness levels. But I'm actually picking boxing now once a week to improve my aerobic fitness levels because someone asked me to come to his class because he runs a class. So I'm going to do that. But that's the thing. Like Stairmaster, all this other shit, all you're doing is just another form of cardio that's probably a little bit more intense. If you can't get your steps in, if you can't do low intensity cardio, or if you need to up the ante, then do that.
Right.
But you need to be careful with what actually eats at your recovery.
Right.
Because there's a particular time where you might need to get more bang for your buck, right. Like you do.
Yep.
But the Stairmaster doesn't tone your legs.
No. The thing that I tell, because I addressed this in my stories today.
I love this thing.
It's on my stories today because somebody responded, because I said, what's one of my questions was like, what's your limiting factor to hitting your goals? And she says, I hate cardio. And I was like, well, cardio is so overrated. It's so overrated. People think that they're going to get your dream body by walking on the treadmill for hours on end. No. You're ruining your progress by walking on the treadmill for hours on end. The only cardio that I assign to my clients outside of my competition clients is a 20 to 30 minute walk per day, depending on how much weight they want to lose or how much fat they want to lose, 5 days a week. That's it.
Yeah.
I want the rest of it to be nutrition based, because if you're a lifestyle client of mine, I don't want you walking on the treadmill for hours on end. It's pointless. We want realistic solutions for real life, for sustainability. And walking on the treadmill or on the Stairmaster or on the elliptical, which I hate the elliptical, the only cardio equipment I'm okay with is the treadmill and the Stairmaster. I guess the air dive. That's a cuss word to me.
I'll have to send you the podcast I did with Dean Guaido as well, because we spoke about how walking is probably one of the most fantastical things that you can do outside of the gym for your results. And I always say aim for at least 10,000 steps a day. Yeah. But as you said, it needs to be realistic. And if you're currently getting 3,000 to 5,000 steps a day, not only are you really, really sabotaging your health, because walking and steps have been shown it get like between 8,000 to 12,000 is where it actually really starts to pick its way up. Mm-hmm. Like your health benefits of walking and steps and activity levels, because you can smash your ass in the gym. Right. You're still bloody sedentary if you're not active out of it. Right. Aim for 10,000 steps. But if you're at 3,000 steps, wean your way up. Do whatever you can to wean your way up. Right. Because that shit is important. Cardio is important for heart health, right, but it is so overrated for fat loss, like you said. Yep. But that's the thing. Like, you don't need to do cardio all of the time, because you just need to improve your health enough, and then just get your steps in. Yep. But stop relying on cardio for fat loss. Yep. If you don't like cardio, don't do cardio. Just get your steps in. Make it fun. Go dancing with the kids. That's cardio. Like, come on.
Go do kickboxing. Go box. Go to yoga. Go do something active. Just move your body. And that's what I tell all my clients. It's like, well, what kind of workouts do I need to do? I don't care. I don't care what you do. Just do something that you enjoy, something that you're going to do. Don't do something that you hate. If you don't like doing hypertrophy, don't do hypertrophy. If you don't like CrossFit, don't do CrossFit. If you don't like yoga, don't do yoga. Like, do something you enjoy doing, because you're going to do it.
But if all you're going to go by is what you enjoy doing, keep in mind that you need to be realistic with what you expect out of it. Don't go doing CrossFit and expect a bodybuilder's body. Right. Don't go doing freaking Pilates and expecting to have a revved up metabolism and a body of a goddess. Yeah. Because yoga and Pilates are not going to get you that. No. They are amazing. I love them, but they will not get you.
Girl, I went through the Pilates phase. I went through this oh my God. I went through this Pilates phase, and I was like, oh, working out so bad for you. Lifting weights is so bad for you. And one of my girlfriends.
Oh my God, really?
What? And I'm like, I know. And she always told me, because I took a break from competing. I started competing in 2010, and I took a break. And she told me for the longest time, she's like, you're going to compete again one day. I was like, no, I'm not. Lifting weights is not good for you. Blah, 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 blah. And then I told you, and I was like, okay, you're right. I was wrong. I digress. Pilates is terrible. Don't like it.
That is cool. So I have a client. Wait. I have quite a few menopause clients, but I had this client that was doing Pilates, and when she signed up, she's just like, I'm like, I love Pilates, but I've just been doing it so much, and I'm just not seeing the tone that I want to see. And I'm like, do you love Pilates, or do you just tell yourself that you love it because you think it's going to get you the result that you want? And we got to the solution that she used to love it, but she stopped loving it because she started doing it purely for an outcome, like we spoke about on this whole conversation. Yeah. But she's been with me for a few months now, and she's using the word strong in nearly every conversation that we have. And that this is going to go back to where we started this whole conversation. Like, it's not about a weight on the scale. Like, what do you want? She wanted to feel strong again. She wanted to feel in control of her body and her results. And if you're doing shit and forcing shit that isn't working, you are never going to feel in control of your results, because you're doing shit that is dysfunctional. Right. And if you keep working harder, you keep pushing harder in the wrong direction, all you're doing is amplifying the wrong shit.
Yep, you're never going to get what you want. And that's something that I ask a lot of my clients too, is what do you want to look like? Like, what is your goal? And even when you work with someone, because I have people that I've worked with for a year, 2 years, because they want the accountability and they enjoy working with me, not because they really need me anymore. But I'm like, okay, well, what are your new goals? Like, are your goals still the same, or do you have a new one? My favorite, because of who I am and what I do, my favorite is when somebody comes to me and they said, I've always wanted to compete and I think I want to compete. Great. Now we have a goal, but we have to do these things in order to get there. But I like asking people, like, what is your actual goal? I don't want to talk about a weight loss goal. I want to talk about a physique goal. Or do you have an event that you're looking to get in shape for? And obviously, as we know, we don't want to just get to that event and then move on and gain all the weight back. But it's really important to me to understand, like, what's your physique goal? Like, what do you want to look like? How do you want to feel about yourself?
I used to use that as my question as well, but I haven't asked that question in over a year now because people don't even know that. Like, I know, for example, like, people don't know that half the time. Like with you and a lot of your people, they do because they want a particular bodybuilding physique. But there are so many people that do not realize, like for me, for example, I know you can relate. I used to really want this body, this girl's body, and I remember my coach saying to me, yeah, but are you willing to weigh like 10 kilos more? Because she has a shitload more muscle than you. Oh, no, I can't gain weight. No. Like, you can't expect to build a muscle to get to these physiques. Like, yes, they look lean, they look sculpted, they look toned, but they have a lot more muscle than you think they do, and muscle weighs something. But the question that I always ask a lot is, okay, but what do you want your life to look like? Yeah. Because you can chase this physique goal, you can chase this weight goal, and forget about all the other things. Yeah. Look at Ali. Look at her relationship with her daughter. Look at how close their relationship is. Look at how their couple goals, like her couple goals with her partner, like she has life in her life.
Yeah.
Are you letting your life slide away because all you care about is this physique goal, or all you care about is weight goal? You can have both.
Right.
But you need to stop wanting shit yesterday, because the more desperate you are for certain things, the more things slip away, because you can't focus on a million things at once and optimize all bloody areas. One of my friends did this amazing quote. I think you'll love this one. Say you got like, I'm just going to use 100 points or 100%. Say you got 100% with you. You want to maximize 10 areas of your life. Those 10 areas are going to get 10% of you. Mm. Or you can pick 2 or 3 areas to maximize on. The 2 areas will get 50%. The 3 areas will get 33.333333 with a repetitive dot on it percent. I had to bring my little math there. But it's like, whatever you focus on expands.
Right.
But it's not just what you focus on, but how much intent and effort and energy you can give it. Right. And if you can only give it 10%, it ain't going to expand all that much. It's almost like when people bet on horses or whatever you bet on. I don't freaking know. I don't like this betting business. But you bet on something. It's like you bet 5 cents. If it gets like triple wins, you get like 15 cents. If it doesn't win, you just get your 5 cents. But if you bet like $100 on it and it gets a triple win, you get $300 out of that. Like you get out what you put in. Right. Same with when you have a coach, when you have Ali, when you have me, when you have anyone. You're not going to get anything out of them that you aren't willing to put in. They can show you the way. We can show you the way. We can tell you what's important. But if you think that everything is just about what you eat, how you train, you are never going to get results, because that is just the surface level. You need to meet them on the mindset level. And like Ali said, and like I say over and over again, knowing what's going on in your life is actually the most important thing. Right. Because without knowing that, we don't give a shit about the rest. Right. Because how can we know why we're seeing what we're seeing and what problems are coming to us if all you're saying is, yeah, I'm eating good. Yeah, I'm training hard. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's a lot. That's a lot of information. I can do so much with that information. Not
my macros because I'm stressed out. Okay, that's great. Okay, well, what are you stressed out about? Like I have a couple of clients right now who are going through really nasty divorces. So I make a point to not just be their coach, but to be their friend and to be someone who they can talk to. I've been through a nasty divorce, so I understand it. So I level with them. What can we do? Like, how can we focus on you now and make this about you? And you can't control what's going on there, but let's control this and make you feel good about you, because you're re-entering the world now as an individual. So what can we do to elevate your self-esteem in this area of your life?
Self-esteem. That's an important one too. But that's the thing. Like, but people don't want to meet at that level because you can't see tangible results, or it's not physical results. And something I see a lot is, I just want to get the most out of everything I have to offer. Or I just want to make sure that I'm maximizing everything. I just want to make sure that everything's like, I'm actually using all of what you got. It's like, that's the point. You don't actually want to. Right. You don't need it all. You just need what you need in this moment. And we have all the things, but not all the things are applicable to you in this moment right now. And your whole life, your whole progress, this is why you need to get really clear on what it is you want and how you want to feel and how you want your life to look. Because our life isn't all about training and eating. Nope. The training and eating is the tiniest portion of it, but it is what is going to make our bodies that much healthier, that much fitter, that much looking better. That can fit as a word. That much looking better. That's a thing now.
Aesthetically
pleasing. Yeah. You want to live an effortlessly leaner, healthier, fitter life. And actually, people don't even think about menopause. But if you want to make sure that your metabolism